Project Sax is back, and today we're going to give you 5 reasons why you should upgrade your sax mouthpiece. Number 5, freedom. When you buy an upgrade or you upgrade your mouthpiece, it's a sense of freedom that you get. Why? Because it's like telling the truth. Have you ever tried to tell someone the truth and they just not believe you? Well, when you play your mouthpiece, your upgraded mouthpiece is like saying the truth. Because when you play a mouthpiece that's not an upgrade, which is like a basic mouthpiece that you usually get with your saxophone, it's like saying a lie, because you don't want to sound like that, but that's all you have usually, and you can't say exactly what you want to say, so it's like telling a lie, essentially, because saxophone is all about expression. And if you get another mouthpiece or an upgraded mouthpiece or the mouthpiece that's closest to the sound that you want, it's more like telling the truth. So upgrading your mouthpiece is like getting closer to the truth. Or if you're lucky, you have the mouthpiece that you want and you're just saying the truth every time something comes out your saxophone. An upgraded mouthpiece helps your playability. Now, it's been a many of times where I played just a regular mouthpiece or just a stock mouthpiece that you get with your saxophone that's not a professional saxophone, that's a beginner saxophone, and I'm not able to play the instrument like I want to. Say, for instance, the Altissimo is very, very hard for me to play, and the low notes are very, very chompy to my embouchure. It really pressures my embouchure to play those low notes as subtones and etc. All those techniques that I can play in my lower register is not, it doesn't come out as strong as I want it to. Why? Because my mouthpiece is very, very basic. It's very, very stock. It's very, very, layman's term, whack. It's not exactly what you want for a mouthpiece. But when you upgrade your mouthpiece, you'll find that playing your instrument like you think it should sound will start to sound exactly like you want it to sound. And this is not going to be okay, I'm going to go to the store and buy the exact mouthpiece I want. No, you're going to have to go to the store and try out different mouthpieces, bring you some mouth cleaner, mouthwash, or mouthpiece cleaner, excuse me, and find out exactly what mouthpiece that you need to sound exactly like you want. Because if you do that, then you'll get closer to playing exactly what you want to hear and sounding like you want to sound. Number 3, practicing. When you get that upgraded mouthpiece, it's like the bee's knees. When you practice your instrument is no longer a drag to practice on. You know you love the saxophone, and you know what it could sound like. You've listened to your favorite artists. You've listened to the best saxophone sounds that you could possibly ever hear out on the streets today, on the radio, and it's just like, wow, why don't I sound like that? I'm practicing. I know exactly what I'm hitting is hitting at the right spots. My air is warm. My tonality is good. My tuning is okay, decent. But I'm not able to get what I want out of this horn efficiently because I know that my mouthpiece is just not the mouthpiece that those pros have. So when I practice, I don't practice my full ability. I don't practice everything that I think I should practice, or my practicing efforts are staggered by the mouthpiece that I have, or they're stifled, excuse me, by the mouthpiece that I have. Why? Because that mouthpiece that you have is just not the one that you want. When you upgrade your mouthpiece, you'll find that practicing is a lot more fun. Practicing is exactly what you want to do. Practicing is something that you want to do instead of, even for me, sometimes eating. Sometimes I'll just forget dinner time and I'll just go off to practicing. Like Charlie Parker said, there was a time in which he practiced the horn for 15 hours a day. And I'm pretty sure he must have had the mouthpiece that he wanted. So I'm encouraging you guys to upgrade your mouthpiece as soon as possible, especially, if you never upgraded your mouthpiece before. Listen to the artists that you want to listen to. Try to find out what sound that you want in reference to the sounds that they give you, and then go practice. Because I'm telling you, practicing will be 10 times better when you upgrade closer to the sound that you want with a new mouthpiece or a different mouthpiece that can just give you exactly what you want to hear. Number 2 is sound presence. Now, a lot of you may not know about sound presence, and a lot of people don't think about this. I've learned this even in college, that a lot of saxophone players don't know about their mouthpiece in reference to what atmosphere they need to produce. A lot of people don't understand that a metal mouthpiece are really for those people who want to have like a solo hard rock edge, bring your sax sound out over the guitarist or whatever atmosphere that you're playing in. But I see people using metal mouthpieces, or just mouthpieces that don't fit the character of your atmosphere. Your atmosphere could be like an ensemble atmosphere where you're playing with hundreds of people, or maybe 50 people, or a whole orchestra at times, and you're not the soloist, so you can't have a metal mouthpiece. You would want something more along the lines of a C-star, or a mid-opening mouthpiece that doesn't necessarily cut through the band but blends perfectly with the band, if that makes sense to you. Now, what you need to understand is that the atmosphere that you create has to be conducive to whatever you want your sound to be, but you have to understand that you're not always playing, if you're a soloist, you're not always playing to appease, the soloist vibe. Sometimes you may have to play with a band of some sort, and sometimes you don't have a solo, so you may want a mouthpiece that blends more with the band and also gives you that solo vibe. There's a wide selection of mouthpieces that will just give you exactly what you want. It's not just one size fits all nowadays. It's one size can fit more than one situation kind of thing, depending on what kind of player you are. Now, you have to understand that playing with certain mouthpieces will give you certain sounds in certain atmospheres, but you really want to play the mouthpiece that pertains to your atmosphere. So, for instance, if you're playing in a classical ensemble with a mass amount of people who are playing with this nice warm sound, you may want a C-star, a Selmer C-star, or something with a little bit more of a closed type mouthpiece atmosphere, where it doesn't bring that saxophone cutting out over other saxophones in the section. Or if you're playing in a solo or jazz or something contemporary, maybe you want some flair, some fire, some soul in your saxophone sound. So then you get a metal mouthpiece or something that's bright, really open, and really punchy. Now, depending on what reed you have, you can size it up, whatever is comfortable for you. Maybe you need a soft reed with a very open, like Dave Sanborn cutting edge type sound, or maybe you need a very hard reed with a very closed mouthpiece, something more like a Coltrane-ish type of sound, subtone-ish type of sound, depending on what kind of contemporary player or a 50s jazz kind of guy you are, depending on what kind of saxophone sound you're going for. But females and males alike, we all need to understand that the atmosphere we create with our saxophone is directly related to our mouthpiece. So upgrade to the one that fits your atmosphere. Number one, and last but not least, matter of fact, probably the most important one of all. At the end of the day, when you have your saxophone and you're playing, you want to sound like you. And this last topic is personal expression. So if you're sounding like you're probably playing in an ensemble or an atmosphere that you want. You probably have the mouthpiece upgrade that you want. I'm telling you, if you get that upgrade, that's the exact mouthpiece that you want, that's playing the saxophone tonality the way you want, that has that edge that you want, that plays the altissimo like you want, that channels your expression directly through the heart of your soul, through the heart of your instrument out into the masses, then that's when you have that upgrade, that's when you have the fire. That's when you have the soul. Now, I played many mouthpieces that I believe that were like, oh my goodness, this is just cloud nine for me, because I can play exactly what I want to. I play the truth. I say the truth. Whatever I want to come out of my saxophone, exactly how I think it would sound. You see what I'm saying? I spend a lot of time fingering notes and not necessarily playing them, but imagining how they would sound, because I know the pitches already. I can hear pitches in my head. I know if it's a concert B flat, E flat, or A flat, or what note that is for my saxophone, because E flat alto saxophone, my principal instrument, is a minor third from concert key. So I do a lot of key changes, and anytime I hear a key or a pitch that I know, I finger it on my fingers, and I imagine my sound sounding a certain way. And then I play it on my horn when I go to practice. And if it's not what I feel like I need to sound like, then I'm always looking towards getting a mouthpiece upgrade. Why? Because the mouthpiece that I've been playing on for years. But the mouthpiece that I know I want, I can't afford right now. But once I get that mouthpiece, I want to try it. I want to play it and see if it's what I want. And then, sound is not something that you necessarily get on the first try. I know that. I've been spending years trying to mold and cultivate my sound exactly what I want to. Some of the best jazz artists have spent years, their whole lives, trying to create a certain sound, a certain presence with their horn, with their mouthpiece. And that mouthpiece is almost like the soul of your saxophone. It's supposed to breathe. That mouthpiece reed combination is supposed to breathe. It's supposed to help you breathe through your instrument. You see what I'm saying? It's supposed to make you sound like the truth. Your true you. What you think the saxophone is supposed to sound like. Your mouthpiece is supposed to help color and bring that out. Now, of course, this goes to saying that you have to be able to practice your instrument. Good air, good tone, all that stuff. But at a certain point, what the color of your sound is not manifested by what you're doing, but it's more so a mouthpiece change may need to be in order. Now, I'm not saying that you should get the most expensive mouthpiece, no. But I'm saying whatever mouthpiece that you buy that helps you sound like you, that helps you put out the true you, your soul, into that saxophone, out into the masses, out into this world, is the mouthpiece that you should have. It's not necessarily, I need to buy a $600 mouthpiece. And yes, mouthpieces can get up to $600, but that's not what I'm saying. I am saying buy the mouthpiece, even if it's a $10 mouthpiece. If that makes you sound like you think you should sound, then that's what you should buy. You should go out and try to practice on the mouthpieces. Depending on what store you are, they may let you try a mouthpiece before you buy it, because you are spending sometimes excess to $200. Usually the mouthpieces that the professionals play are around $200 on average. 200, 100 to 200 to 300. Some special named mouthpieces have those $600 price tags on them. But I'm just telling you, once you get that sound that you want, that expression level, that your thirst for playing this instrument will go out of the roof. And the exact saxophone atmosphere, the exact saxophone experience that you want to have, the only saxophone experience that matters, the one that you're living, the one that you have, the one that you're trying to achieve. And you're able to manifest that time and time over again, note after note, tone after tone, altissimo note after altissimo note, subtone after subtone. If you're able to manifest exactly what you want, then you'll have the exact saxophone experience that you should have. And that's what I want you guys to have. So this is Devin with Project Sax, and I'm wishing you guys good sound.